Hey everyone, it's Alex and welcome to this Marvel Snap Guide. We're going to be talking about the Spotlight Caches for April and looking into the future for the Spotlight Caches of May as well. Now, very important note, you'll notice on the screen here, we got the Snap Pack announcement, and Cozy and I are going to be breaking down the Snap Pack announcement and our thoughts on it fully on the Snapchat. We'll also be discussing a little more detail on each of the individual new cards that are coming out next month. But what I will tell you though is that as shown by this beautiful graphic by Zero Skill Samus, thank you so much for creating this graphic, and I'll link to their Reddit post down below. It does a great job of explaining the changes. The most important thing you need to know is that, well, you need to know everything, but basically it's going to be going live April 29th or June 3rd. You might notice that's a pretty big window. Well, that's because those are the two patch dates for Marvel Snap. And so on April 29th here, if they're not confident that their code is 100%, they're going to push it back to the June 3rd date. That means that this April might be the last time we interact with the Spotlight Cache Key system. And if not, June is going to be the last one, which means the next set of May will be the last time we interact with the Spotlight Cache Key system. So there's not going to be many videos like this anymore because the Spotlight Cache system is going away, which makes it even more important that you conserve your resources. And so that's what we're going to be doing today in this video. We're going to be discussing the Spotlight Cache Keys, which we seem particularly worth it. And so you can best manage your resources going into this massive change, because each individual key that you maintain going into the Snap Pack system is going to translate into 3,000 tokens. It's also important to note that there's several things that we just don't know about the system yet, including the cost of the packs, because you're imagining that the new Series 5 packs are going to be the most expensive, and it's kind of going to trail down in terms of its overall cost. We all don't know what the token acquisition rate is going to be. We do know that the Spotlight Key is going to be 3,000 tokens, and we understand that, and those places on the collection track are going to be 3,000, but what are the login bonuses going to be? Are the tokens on the collection track going to change at all? It's hard to know. We don't know, right? It's also worth noting that the way these packs work is that, you know, the collector's pack will feature cards from 2 seasons ago and prior. I imagine those will be cheaper. There's an example of the Zorn week, which has Zorn, which looks like an okay card, but then it has Scream and Ajax. Scream and Ajax are fantastic. If that was a regular Spotlight week, you'd want to roll just for the Ajax and Scream. Like, Zorn doesn't even look that great compared to the other two cards, which are linchpin cards of their archetype. But both Scream and Ajax would be in the Collector's Series 5 packs, which would probably be cheaper to acquire than the cost of the Spotlight keys you're using to get those cards. And so as a result, until we get more information about how this system is going to work, how much it's going to cost, and whether or not it's released on April 29th or June 3rd, right? There's a lot in flux here. So I'm going to do my best to give you the most information I can, but just bear in mind, we're in a very interesting spot in Marvel Snap's history where the entire acquisition model is in the moment of changing. And so, you know, we're going to do our best to try to, you know, give you the best information possible. But one thing I will recommend though is err on the side of caution. Conserve as much resources as you can, because the more resources you have going into the new, more generous system, the better off you're going to be. So truly do not FOMO. You're going to want to conserve as much resources as possible to get into that new system. We start this video with April 1st to 8th, which is no April Fool's joke. It is one of the absolute best Spotlight caches you'll see over the next month or so, simply because there's a couple really good cards there. Yes, Sersi is a bit of a landmine. It's unfortunate. Really low win rate, almost no popularity, but maybe Sersi will make a comeback in the future. Perhaps. I know Cozy does love the card. Gwenpool and Goiliath, though, are phenomenal additions to your collection. Gwenpool, especially with the nerf to Galacta, has really solidified itself as a premium 4-drop for buff decks, and had a 53% win rate and a 7% popularity. It's an excellent card. Really should be added to your collection. Former season pass card, of course. And Goiliath, the star of the show here, is a really straightforward card, but potentially could be immensely powerful in this upcoming season, considering how much ongoing synergy we're going to be getting. And Goiliath looks like it truly has the makings of a phenomenal card. So overall, this Spotlight Cache week is a 4-star week without question, because you definitely want Goiliath in your collection going into this upcoming season, considering how many ongoing effects we're going to be adding to the game and how ongoing I think is going to be a major player in the meta. Gwenpool's great and Sersi's sus, but you know what? Hey, there's got to be a landmine somewhere. It's the second in our way, but thankfully with the snapbacks, you know, you're not going to have to worry about that so much moving forward. And that's going to take us to April 8th to 15th, and this is a little bit of a weaker week, but still a good one, with Kahhori, Cull, Obsidian, and Hydra Bob. There's no question that I'm a huge fan of Hydration Robert. Everyone knows that, but the The post-nerf Hydra Bob is not nearly as good as the old one, but it's still good, especially with some of the movement-based strategies we're seeing that incorporate the movement of Hydra Bob. And we do have Hydra Stomper that's coming soon, which, you know, Hydra Bob's going to like and benefit from as well. At a 1-4, it's a really good one-drop overall. 1-5 was just absolutely cracked. Still running a 52% win rate and a 5% popularity. Hydra Bob is definitely worth having in your collection as a premium one-drop. With Cull Obsidian had its moment to really shine when you had the Captain America's Sam Wilson shield, which was a one-drop, and then basically Cull Obsidian was free real estate. Since the change to that and the fact that Cull Obsidian has dropped to Series 4, this card has definitely felt weaker. Now, it's still playable. It's definitely a 2-star card, but at Series 4, you know, you're not getting quite as much value for your keys, especially considering with the Snap Pack system upcoming. Still a good card. And Kahhori, as the new card being added at a 4-6 that, you know, for every card in your hand, gives your cards in play +1 power. It's kind of like a moonshine, or not moonshine. It's like what Starfall. You guys remember Warcraft 3 Starfall? The Priestess of the Moon with like Starfall and everyone. That's what it looks like in the trailer. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you remember the Priestess of the Moon Starfall from Warcraft. But anyways, Kahhori looks like it has a lot of potential. I don't think it's going to be quite as prevalent as Goiliath, specifically because I think Kahhori is going to be working in the Victoria hand decks and the hand build decks. Those are going to be potentially really good, right? And they were very close to being meta relevant, and Kahhori is like another kind of chip that they get to play, or card they get to play, I guess I meant. But Kahhori looks like it has potential, not quite as high as Goiliath, but still potentially a very good card, which makes it a good week overall, but not the best. Going to Infinity Ultron on April 15th to 22nd. Infinity Ultron is an interesting one because it comes with Cannonball and Pixie. Pixie just getting buffed from a 2-1 to a 2-2, which honestly I think is a fake buff, because really that's just like, hey, maybe you guys should try Pixie. Pixie should be a 1-2, like Loki basically. Like, it's essentially a Loki card. Like, not it's a Loki card. It operates the same way Loki would, and because it just got changed and no one played it, we have literally no stats. Like, there's no untapped stats for it. Cannonball's being a Series 5 at a 53% win rate, 6% popularity. This could even be a 4-star card at a 5-8 because it is so prevalent in the Scream shells. And you know what? I almost want to make this a 4-star. Give me a sec. Boom, the magic of editing. 4-star card. It should be a 4-star because especially when you consider the prevalence of Scream. Scream decks are all over the place. They continue to be one of the absolute best decks in the game. Scream itself consistently is one of the best cards in the game. And so as a result, I think that Cannonball is definitely worth adding to your collection if you don't have it already. Pixie is, I mean, not yet worth adding to your collection. It'll probably be Series 3 by the time they do give it the proper buff it deserves. But in terms of Infinity Ultron, I have some concerns with regards to its overall power level. At a 5-6, it adds 2 Infinity Ultron zones to your hand. There's, you know, obviously 6 total. There's a lot of RNG based on its power. You're kind of punting on turn 5 because if you think about it, you have the Sarah. And like, if you think about the Sarah play on turn 5, you're relinquishing a lot of power, and you're kind of doing the same thing with Infinity Ultron. If you have the Quinjet out, the stones cost 2, but then like, what are you doing with the 2 extra energy, right? So like, I think the lines are a little more convoluted with Infinity Ultron. I'd love to be wrong because I think the card looks incredibly fun, but I have my doubts. As a result, I think this is one of the weaker weeks at 2 stars. Infinity Ultron is probably not an immediate grab. Cannonball should be in your collection, and Pixie, I think, is not playable until it's a 1-2. So that's just my opinion. By far one of the weaker weeks, but again, I'm going to caution you that you really want to conserve your resources because all those keys get converted into those tokens you need for the upcoming system. You don't want to be rolling unnecessarily. That's the major thing, and so I think this is a skip week for that reason alone. Going to April 22nd to 29th, we have Strange Supreme, and now I think this is a phenomenal week because Strange Supreme has seen a buff. It goes from a 2-0 to a 2-2. That's first thing. Secondly, it has been showcased in the trailer to be able to capture cards from multiple different locations. And that gives it a lot more capability with something like a debris. And it's being partnered with 2 really good cards, Speed and USAgent. These are phenomenal cards. Speed is probably quietly one of the better cards in Marvel Snap that no one talks about. A 54% win rate and a 1% popularity, which is so unfortunate. And what's interesting is that when they go, oh, Alex, it's 54% win rate, we don't have enough stats. Anytime Speed sees play, it has great stats. It has been consistently a great statted card. and we just don't play it because it's not exciting, I guess. I don't know. USAgent did get nerfed at one point. Well, first of all, it got released, it got buffed, and then it got nerfed. And it's at a 53% win rate, which is still pretty good considering it's like back to its original stat line. But it's not seeing as much play as before. It's not being played as much in the toxic decks either because you have the Diamondbacks and some other shells that are seeing more success. But overall, this is a strong week. Again, the challenge is you want to conserve as much resources as you can, but Strange Supreme seems like it has a lot of potential to be one of the absolute banger cards of the month, and the two cards that are associated with the Spotlight Cache and Speed and USAgent are worth having in your collection. Overall, a very strong week, one that I think that you can consider rolling for, but again, be wary of using too many resources for cards that, especially like when these drop down and they become less expensive, like the problem is that these are likely to be less expensive to acquire in the upcoming system because of the fact that you're gonna have these aren't recent cards, so it's gonna be in the cheaper of the packs. You know what I mean? So do bear that in mind that with the new system, you're not gonna want to roll on these subsequent cards. You're more after the new card, which you'd probably want to use tokens for. But then the token's going to be more expensive potentially than the new system coming. Oh, man. We're in a weird time, a very weird time. You usually want to target the new card and wait to get these in the new system is what I would venture to say. I would not roll extra for the extra cards, despite the fact that I still think that they're good. April 29th to May 6th. This is a very interesting one. I do think that Madam Web and Arana are good cards in their own right, but like they're obviously very niche. And, Move itself has its combo deck, like it has its really fancy pants deck. Will Hydra Stomper create a new form of move deck that takes it to the next level, or at least makes it more approachable? Because I think that the combo centric decks with like the Frigga, the Human Torch, like they're very annoying to play. Like they're high skill cap. And as a result, like they have great stats, but people just don't want to play that. Hydra Stomper, first of all, I think is a very good card. Ongoing +1 power for each card you move this game. I think that has the potential to be remarkably massive, even if you consider the Heimdalls and stuff, but even something as simple as a Silk bouncing back and forth, that's crazy. It's legit crazy how much power as a 3 cost the Hydra Stomper can get. And remember, it was a 3/1 originally, and its text has changed a couple times. The only challenge with this week is that Madam Web and Arana, they have been in Spotlight Caches a couple times, extremely niche cards, both Series 5, but again, in the new acquisition system, they'll be easier and cheaper to acquire than committing a key to. Let's be honest. And so you're interested in Hydra Stomper primarily. Is Hydra Stomper going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth risking, like rolling on Madam Web and Arana for the Hydra Stomper? Now, the advantage you have is that there's a chance that Arana and Madam Web will be in Hydra Stomper decks. There's a chance that that'll happen. And so you're going to be filling out a deck by using your keys. But those keys are going to be so valuable going into that new system. Is Hydra Stomper good? I think it's going to be. I think it might be one of the best cards of the season, low key, especially if you're a move player. If you're not a move player, I still think it's, that's probably going to be, you skip it if you're not a move player at all. But in terms of move, I think it's going to add quite a bit, especially those like silky smooth style packages. I like the week overall, but again, these keys are so valuable. And that's going to take us to the new month. We got a new month of cards here. And by the way, these Spotlight Cache variants are so good. I almost hope that the snap packs come out before this rollout, because I want to find a different way to acquire these Spotlight variants without committing keys to them, because I don't want to commit the keys to them. But I want them. Look at this Surge. Look at this Surge Spotlight variant. It's so good. Even the Hope Summers is really good too. I got some Fire Hope Summers variants, but anyways, I digress. We're going to be talking about the upcoming cards and the Spotlight Caches. And again, this all might change if they roll out the new pack system on the April patch date as opposed to the June patch date. If they roll in the June patch date, which is entirely possible, then these Spotlight Caches are going to be utilized. So first of all, Surge, I think, as data mine. Oh, this is also data mine. So this might change. All this might change. Stats might change. Abilities might change. Spotlight Caches might change. Everything might change. So, Surge. I like Surge. I think Surge is going to be super cool. And it's not a reveal that gives the top card of your deck -1 cost, +1 power. If you play that card, it repeats the ability. I think that's really cool. The style of deck where you're playing your top decks all the time is really interesting. I think that could be potentially very fascinating. You have the Hope Summers, which could potentially go in that deck as well, because if you think about it, Hope Summers is cool because if you play on top of the Hope Summers, you are going to allow yourself to reach a little further, because if the card you top deck is a 5 cost, right, Hope Summers is going to give you that extra energy to reach into those cards as you kind of want to play them out. Emperor Hulkling sucks. He got buffed, still sucks. Has been seen in a couple decks, little meme decks here and there, but still not great. But overall, this week is okay because you got the Hope Summers and the Surge, but the Hyper Hulkling is an unfortunate kind of landmine here, and I don't see him being changed any further at this point. He's just going to be the card he is. He's the fun card he is. Surge, definitely worth getting though, but again, Spotlight Keys being very valuable in this particular mode. Prodigy. We have Prodigy, Silver Sable, and Frigga. This is a strong week. Now, I'm giving it a 3 to 4 stars. Now, I don't usually do this where I give like the exception on the stars. On the new cards, I give like the potential range. But with this here, the problem is that Prodigy is an honor reveal that interacts with the row system that we're finding with Agent Carter. The problem is we have not yet played with Agent Carter yet, so we don't know how those systems work. So you have Agent Carter, you got Dum Dum Duggan and all this stuff. And so if that whole system of macro management feels lackluster and doesn't feel worth it, Prodigy as a result feels worse. If the system works really well, then suddenly Prodigy feels much better. We just haven't played that style of deck yet, so we don't know how easy it is to proc that Prodigy effect. With Silver Sable and Frigga, you are looking at two very good cards. Silver Sable is a good one. 51% win rate, 3% popularity. It's being used in a lot of like those toxic decks. Has it come down from its original crazy form? Yes, it's come down quite a bit. It's still good though. With Frigga, you have yourself a very, very good card that's seen in a lot of important kind of like combo decks, whether it's the move Human Torch deck or of course it is the Bullseye Frigga deck. Yours truly helped design, or actually did design, which continues to be one of the top discard shells of the meta. Frigga is a very good card with a very unique approach to deck building and enabling combo-centric play. And so Frigga, there's nothing else quite like it. Definitely worth adding to your collection. So this week as a whole is good, while dependent on Prodigy itself. There's a good chance that Prodigy is the weak link here. And that's the thing. If it is the weak link, then you absolutely skip the week because these cards are going to be cheaper to acquire in the future packs than they will be now, right? Very important to note. Next up, we have May 20th to 27th, which is the week for Elixir, Arishem, and Malekith. Now, Elixir as a 1/1 that has to activate the next time one of your cards is destroyed this turn, revive it here. It's a pretty cool card. I like it. I'm giving it about a 3-star potential range. But the real stars are Arishem and Malekith, both of which are damn good cards in Marvel Snap. Now, Arishem obviously is an archetype definer. Malekith is one of those cards that I bet you if more people had, that they would be willing to add him to more decks because he is good. Really interesting card, very interesting mechanic, especially with the fact that Goiliath is not seeing as much play anymore. Malekith tends to be very interesting. 52% win rate, 3% popularity. And Arishem's win rate right now is... I think it's in a little bit of a rut. Don't count Arishem out right now because I think that Arishem's time has not yet come to pass. Okay, this is a card that's going to continue to be relevant in the meta. But with Elixir, I think it might be the weak link here. Honestly, I think Arishem and Malekith have proven themselves to be good cards. Elixir being the weak link. It takes a little bit off the Spotlight Cache. So this is one of those weeks where I would actually not recommend rolling at all. This is a skip week. Why is it a skip week? Because Arishem and Malekith are likely to be cheaper in the new Spotlight Cache system because of their age. They're going to be within the last several seasons, or past that, and so as a result, they should be in the cheaper packs. Elixir, right, is not necessarily, I think, going to be worth rolling for right off the rip. It has some potential synergies, of course, but I think it's likely to wait. I don't think it's going to be an archetype definer. I think it's going to be kind of a support player. So as a result, I think this is going to be an overall skip week, despite the fact that traditionally, it would be okay. You could potentially get a new card, and you have two very good Series 5 cards to hit here, which kind of props up the week. This is one of those circumstances where the cards that are in the Spotlight Caches are probably better than the Spotlight Cache card itself. May 27th, we have Scorn, Ajax, and Scream. I might have to repeat myself here. Ajax and Scream are way better than Zorn. Way better than Zorn. Like, Zorn is interesting as a 2/3 that can move any 3 or 4 cost card play there to another location. Has potential. But really what makes this Spotlight Cache so good is the Ajax and the Scream. There are so many people out there that lament about not having Ajax. And it has been a linchpin card of the entire Toxic archetype for so long. And you've even had cards like Diamondback added to that archetype. So Ajax is 100% worth getting. Scream is 100% worth getting. If you don't have Scream, Scream is literally the best card in Marvel Snap right now. It has seen multiple nerfs, its archetype has seen multiple nerfs, and it continues to be one of the absolute best shells. You can take Zorn and just throw it in a Scream deck, which obviously makes sense anyways. And it's just a better deck. It's just because Zorn is just better because it's in the Scream deck. Like, you could put Cull Obsidian in a Scream deck, and the win rate will go up. You can put Emperor Hulkling in a Scream deck. Those decks dominate, and they're just good shells. And so Zorn is a very natural inclusion, potentially in a Scream deck. Ajax is the linchpin card for the Toxic archetype. This is a great week. Great week, if only for these two cards. But again, the Spotlight Cache and should be the last of the Spotlight Cache system, so the snap packs should allow you to acquire these two cards specifically cheaper. So for me, despite the fact that this is a great week under a regular circumstance for the Spotlight Cache system, if you have snap packs now, these guys should be able to be acquired cheaper. You punt on the Zorn. And this is kind of the issue, right? Like, the new card has to carry more weight in the new system, because it's not worth rolling the keys to get these if they're going to be cheaper in the new system, right? So that's kind of the crux of the situation. But you're going to want Ajax, you're going to want Scream regardless. We're in a really weird time of transition, and so and we don't even have the costs yet. We don't have like a lot of the details yet about the new system, which could have helped inform on some of the decision making moving forward. So in the next little while, I hope we get some more information about the system so we can follow up with you guys, and give you on the Snapchat. We'll discuss it more, I'm sure, when we get some more additional information. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and sincerely appreciate each and every one of you. Got another video on the screen if you're interested in watching more content, and we'll see you in that next one.